Margot, and I'm going to be talking about my perspective on the technology impact on communication. So, let me take you back in time to the 1800s in America. Imagine you just got a present from your birthday. So who would you tell first? Your best friend, maybe. But they live in Europe, and in the 1800s you would have to write a letter. But it would take weeks to get to your friend. Instead, in today's world we are more connected, and the message would get to them in seconds. This shows how fast the world is now, and how much it has changed. Now we can contact anyone whenever we want. Imagine waiting weeks for a letter. Now we panic if someone leaves us unread for 5 minutes. So one example of how news were shared back then is Abraham Lincoln's death, because he died the 14th of April, 1865. But the message got to Europe 12 days later after the event of his death, which really shows how slow news were shared back then. For example, now news travel all over your social media to inform you as quick as possible. People can be fooled really easily by social media, since if you scroll for a while, there's so much information coming at you that you might not check it all on actual source and just absorb what you heard. This shows how people rely on technology too much, and well, it's impacting our day-to-day life and communication. So, for example, I recently was able to experience a full nation power outage in Madrid, Spain. This means Spain was without network for a full day. This means we didn't have messages, not emails. We couldn't contact people out of the city. So a feeling of chaos started to set in, since people couldn't contact nobody out of the city, or wherever it got you at. This experience really showed me how reliable and dependent we are on technology without even noticing it. This means that people feel less connected to communicate between their relationships, and it has made the communication less effective, since talking through a screen is way easier than communicating effectively with a person. So what is effective communication and why is it important? Well, let me tell you. Effective communication helps the person understand what you're saying better, since it involves consistency and being short and clear. And it contains special nonverbal skills, such as gestures, eye contact, and body language. These are basic human skills that everyone uses. But if we talk about texting, you do not use these skills. And since people have started relying on technology too much, it has made the skills less strong. And the communication is not as effective between people as it used to be, since talking through a screen is way easier than communicating effectively with a person. So this means that our personal relationships feel less connected to communicate between each other. One example of this is breaking up over text. It's a clear example to show how people rely on technology too much, and how our personal relationships are suffering because of it. If you end a relationship by text, either romantic or platonic, it avoids the real emotional confrontation and takes away the chance of both individuals to express their emotions. For the person sending the message, it's quick and easy. They might be afraid of a confession face-to-face, since the use of effective communication is definitely a challenge when something like this wants to be expressed. On the other hand, for the person receiving the message, it's confusing and disrespectful. Basically, the use of technology to avoid tough conversations only demonstrates how disconnected people have become from the real, meaningful, effective communication. Okay, so all the interaction made by the breaking up over text is actually a form of communication, and it is called non-effective communication. What is it? It is the opposite of effective communication, yes. And which basically means there's no usage of the effective communication skills. Okay, so something that has also impacted a lot in communication throughout the years is AI and its tools, as you might all be aware of. Let's talk about AI and its impact on communication. AI has impacted communication in many ways. Even though there is a positive impact, AI has also disconnected people from the real communication. So technology has made communication faster and easier, but is it effective? Conversations between humans usually include that awkward silence when no one knows what to say, misunderstandings, and those emotions that can completely be explained by words. If we rely on AI to talk for us, make decisions, or even comfort us, we are slowly forgetting how to use those skills that make us human, like empathy, patience, and vulnerability. We are replacing the emotional conversations with quick, efficient answers. Yes, AI might save us time, but it's also taking away that moment of connection between two humans. It gives us efficiency, but it's also stealing something from us, the human part of communication. Basically, they're trying to make communication easier, but AI is making relationships emptier, and this might be our future, and still will keep increasing. But don't get me wrong, AI has also improved communication a lot, since technology has given us tools to make the human interaction even better. With, for example, the language barriers, AI has helped us with the real-time translation chat and the translation apps, which basically takes a different language and translates it to the user's preferred language. It has also helped us with the customer service communication, which are those bots who reply instead of a person when you maybe try to book an appointment. These are there so everyone is being attended, even across different time zones. There is even some AI which helps detecting more emotional tones through screens and recommends more empathic responses, which can be really helpful for people who don't know how to express their emotions or, again, for customer service responses. What I'm saying is that AI is not only about robots taking over. It's about helping people talk, connect, and understand each other better, especially if there are barriers in the way. Okay, so now the question remains. What are we expecting in the future, and what will happen to the communication of our next generation? So, in the future, communication might be more accessible, more aware, and more inclusive than ever, by talking to anyone, even in the most isolated places, which will give voice to a huge amount of people. This is something which is already starting to happen, and it's a great benefit to humanity, being able to talk even if you're in the middle of the desert or in a full forest. AI will help us speak more clearly, write with more confidence, and understand each other better. What I'm saying is that future communication will be a balancing act between letting communication and new technology enhance our voices and not losing them in the process. The key of understanding AI and new technology is acknowledging its role as a supplement and not a replacement for human interaction, to let it support our voices but not speak for our hearts. So we have the privilege to communicate with anyone whenever we want. We have one of the most powerful tools in history. So now I ask you, what type of world do you want to create with them? Thank you.